Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a great day. Obviously the market hasn't been having such a great week. Neither has Bitcoin, Ethereum, or the mining stocks. They have been getting beaten up like crazy. So today we're going to cover the miners versus miners, but first we're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the mining stocks, look at the charts, look at the basically what's going on in the stock market a little bit, and then we'll get into the miner versus miner to see who is now the most undervalued based on all the miners that I cover right now. So obviously, as always, this is for entertainment purposes, not financial advice. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams. Spam posts get reported and removed, as always. All right, so let's take a look at the Ethereum stock price right now, or the Ethereum coin price. It is at, right now, 4,097. It is down from its high in about, was this 2 weeks ago when we reached our high. It is down about 17% if we look at it here. So looking at this, well, it's down about 18% to the low here, which we had. Actually, it's 19%. So 19% down to the low that we've had here. This was reached on 11/10 was the high, and then obviously looks like earlier today we reached the low, and then obviously we've crossed over to the new day, and we're up a little bit, so that's a good sign. Obviously, we've been kind of hugging this 20-day moving average here on Ethereum, and obviously the more times something touches it, the more probability there is that it's going to actually go down, and it did. And we can see the same thing happening here in Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin here is at now 57,321. So from its high of 69,000 roughly here, down to the low, let me delete that, try that again. Didn't see the number, but it's like 18% down that we went down. Yeah, 18.3% down from the high to the low in the last, 9 days or so, 9-10 days. So the high was reached on also 11/20 or 11/10, sorry about that. And then as you can see here, we've been hugging this 20-day moving average here for quite a while. And in one of my previous videos, I did mention it, that the more times we touch the line, the possibility and the probability increases that we will fall below it. And we did. Once we fell below it, we tested the 50-day moving average, bounced off of it a little bit, but then we fell back down again today from it. And then we reached our support, which is at 57,000 roughly, with the support here, which goes all the way back to the earlier all-time highs that we had previously. So right now, it looks like our next kind of test might be the 100-day moving average, and that is at around 53,000. So we'll have to see if we don't bounce down below it. Obviously, the RSI is really low on the daily. But it's not out of the question that we could come back down to the 53,000 mark before we actually reverse the pattern here, and where the bears are just basically exhausted from all the selling and everything, and then we start having our next rally up. All right, let's take a look at Hive here. So Hive obviously hit a high of a couple days ago of 560. It has since dropped a tremendous amount. Part of it was obviously the dilution happening again, so it is down 34.78%, roughly 35% down from its high, which is a huge decrease in just a matter of about a week. So we've seen this also kind of hugging the 20-day moving average, bounced above it, and then obviously came back down after the news came out that there's going to be more dilution for the $100 million in Canadian that they're getting. And that's obviously, that kind of helped out the price going down more. Was more buying, more selling pressure from that. If we look at Hut 8, it is at 1252 right now. It reached a high of 1657, and that was also on the 9th, and that has fallen down since then, down to approximately, well, that fell 28.89%, so almost 29% from its high. Bitfarms is at 777. It reached a high of 936. It is down right now. Let's take a look from 936 down to the low here. It's down 20.94%. Mara is at 5146. Mara obviously got the news. When did we get the news? Earlier this week, I believe we got the news, or late last week, that the SEC is investigating them for their build out in Texas. We don't know exactly what they're investigating, but it hit a low of, well, it's down about 43.86%. So that one has completely gotten creamed in the last week by the short, I wouldn't say shorts, but people just selling it because of the news. And obviously Bitcoin falling down, that did not help as well. So Riot is at 33.63. It peaked at 46.28. It has fallen since its high here down to right around there. So it's fallen 32.91%. As you can see, everything is just falling like crazy here. Obviously, we have Argo. Argo reached a high earlier on of, when was that? This was $2.37, and that was on 9/17. And it has fared pretty well during this time here where Bitcoin has been falling down. It looks like if we go back to the 10th, the 9th, where everything else started falling, if we do that, it has only fallen approximately 15.38%. So not bad. Digihost obviously reached $8 here from the high to the low of 558, where it's at right now. So that one has, let's take a look here how much that one has fallen. That one has fallen roughly 32%. Yeah, so I mean, on average, everything's right around 30% down. Cleanspark is at 1716. It reached a high of 2360 here. From that high, it has fallen approximately, take a look, about 29.87%. So 30% from the high. Everything is just on sale right now. It's amazing how much things have fallen in just a short amount of time. Let's take a look at this one. This one is Mawson. This is one of the recent ones that I added here. And that has fallen from a high of 10.05, or it's at 10.05 right now, and it's fallen 38%. So obviously everything has been falling because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin obviously has fallen quite a bit, and then we've had some other stocks that have had bad news, and that's contributed to them falling even more. So I think we may have a couple more volatile days where Bitcoin might still go down a little bit more, but I just don't know yet. We will have to see how that plays out. But after that, I think we'll start a reversal trend where the buyers are going to take over again and the bulls are going to start kicking butt, hopefully again. Okay, so let's take a look at my numbers here for the miner versus miner. Let me see if I can zoom this in for you guys a little bit. Make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, so obviously did some updating to the spreadsheet here, made it a little bit easier to read. I've also included the 50% from gross income and 75% gross of income to come up with my calculations that I normally use in the individual sheets here. So obviously this is all based on the information provided in my individual miner comparison, or not comparison, but miner updates. So that includes all the latest miners that are being installed, which ones are installed, what's running, how much they're possibly making, and that's contributing to what I think they possibly might be valued at the end of Q4, depending on how Bitcoin plays out. So right now Bitcoin is at 56,889 is when I did this. So Bitfarms was at 777, market cap of 1.6 billion, shares outstanding 187. Current price to earnings multiple is 17.94 on it. Hive is at 393, 1.98 market cap billion, and shares outstanding is 388 million with a price to earnings multiple of 1509. Hot 8 is at 1252, 2.84 billion. Shares outstanding is 166 million roughly, 31.45 for the price to earnings, and then Marathon is at 5146, market cap 5.2 billion. 102 million shares outstanding and a market cap or price to earnings multiple of 55.82. Riot is at 33.63, market cap of 4 billion, shares outstanding 115 million, almost 116 million. And this is kind of funny. 166 price to earnings multiple, I think it's because they had a negative EPS on their latest quarterly report, which is obviously being multiplied out to get to their current stock price, and is giving us 166 price to earnings multiple, which is just insane. Argo is at $1.79, 884 million for the market cap, 468 million shares outstanding, and that's got a 63.93 price to earnings multiple, which is also really high and insane. And then we have Digihost at 558, 209 million market cap. So this is the smallest market cap one that I covered, with shares outstanding 25 million. It also has the least amount of shares outstanding right now, and Microsoft is not providing as far as what they have as the price to earnings on it. And we have Cleanspark at 1716 with a market cap of 626 million, and shares outstanding is 36.4 million. And same thing, no PE ratio on that one. Mawson is at 10.05 with a 693 million shares market cap. Sorry, shares outstanding is 69 million. So these three new guys here are obviously the shares outstanding is the lowest, so they can obviously change. They can dilute them. They can issue more shares, get more money, and things like that. So something to watch out with those guys. But based on this, then we know what they're possibly mining or what their possible estimated income, gross revenue is for the year. So with Bitfarms, I'm looking at 165.3 million, Hive at 185 million, Hut 8 at 146 million, Marathon at 176 million, Riot at 204 million, Argo at 98 million, and Digihost at 24 million, Cleanspark at 75 million, and Mawson at 39 million. So obviously, Digihost is the smallest one here out of them all. And then it looks like, at least right now, that Riot might be the one that has the most gross revenue for basically whatever it gets added on in Q4 for the whole year. So earnings per share on gross revenue would be Bitfarms 88 cents, Hive would be 48 cents, Hut 8 would be 87 cents, Marathon would be $1.72, Riot would be $1.77, Argo 21 cents, Digihost 98 cents, Cleanspark 206, and Mawson at 58 cents. Okay, so now if we take a look at my projections here and where they should be, right? So this is current price of Bitcoin is I have it at 56,889. I'm calculating at 50% net of gross revenue. The stock price should be at 882, and then at 75% of net, looking at 1323. So on that, we are right now short. Basically, it's lower by $1.05, and then obviously if it goes up to, if it should be 1323 at 75, we're short basically $5.46 from where we should be because stock price here is 777. So if we look at Hive is at, I have it at 477 at 50%, 715 at 75%. So that would be an increase in 84 cents and 322. Hut 8 I have at 874 and 1312, which would be actually, Hive is right now higher than what I'm showing at 50%, but obviously lower at 75%. So that's why it's negative $3.78 and 60 cents positive here. So right now it looks to me like Hut 8 is pretty well valued. These two guys here are undervalued. And then if we look at Marathon at 50% would be 1719, at 75% would be 2579. So obviously that is very overvalued in my opinion by $34 and $25 respectively. And then Riot is at 1766 at 50% and 2649 at 75%. So this shows me that Riot is also overvalued right now by $15.97 and $7.14, depending on which one you go by. And the reason I did this is a lot of you guys have been complaining that I'm just too conservative on my 50%, so I added the 75% in just for comparison, so you guys can have that as well. Argo I have at 211 and at 316 at 75%, so it should be up 31 cents and $1.36 here. Digihost I have at 978. That should be at 1467 at 75%. So we're looking at an increase at 420 and 909 is where I would have them. And then Cleanspark is at 2061 and 3092. So that would be a 345 and 1376 increase. And Mawson at 578 and 867. So right now it looks like it is overvalued in my book by 578 and $1.38 at 75%. So based on this, if we're looking just at the current estimates, based on where Bitcoin is right now, I would have to say that the most undervalued of them all looks like it's going to be, probably Cleanspark right now. But we'll get into the percentages here and we'll see how that actually plays out. But it looks like Cleanspark, Digihost, Argo, and then we got obviously Hive and Bitfarms. So let's take a look at see what happens if Bitcoin goes to 100,000, 150,000, 200,000. So based on all of this information, Bitfarms, if Bitcoin goes to 100,000, they should be at about 1106 at 50% and 1659. So obviously a nice increase there. And that we'll go down the list here for all of them, for all of these. And then so Hive should be at 602 and 904, 1121 for Hut 8 and 1681, and then Marathon 2340, 3510. Riot 2305 and 3458. Argo at 262 and 392. Digihost at 1251 and 1877, and Cleanspark at 2804 and 4205. Mawson at 793 and 1189. And I'm not going to go too much through all these here. I think it's just going to be too long of a video for you guys. But you can see here at 150,000, you're looking, we'll just look at the 75% here. So 2048 for Bitfarms, Hive at 1122, Hut 8 at 2108, Marathon at 4589, Riot at 4396, Argo at 481, Digihost at 2352, Cleanspark at 5497, and Mawson at 1562. And then at 200,000, we're looking at 2437 for Bitfarms, Hive would be at 1341, Hut 8 2535. Marathon at 5669, Riot at 5333, Argo at 570, Digihost at 2827, Cleanspark at 6782, and Mawson at 1935. So now we're getting into the actual percentage gains here based from where they are right now and where I see them. So obviously the biggest gainer possibly could be Digispark here at 407%. If we reach 200,000, it could go up to that high, so that would give it a price of 28.27. I know that they don't have a lot of miners and they're doing things, but they're also pretty, well, let's take a look at Digihost here really quick. So Digihost doesn't have a lot of miners, but they are possibly going to be making 9 million. And based on the shares outstanding or the shares out, they have such a low volume of shares. That's why I think they could go up in price relatively quickly as long as they don't dilute their shares too fast. And that's mainly why that's having such a huge impact on the price, because of what they're mining and what their actual shares outstanding are. Next one would probably be Cleanspark. Cleanspark also, we did a video, or I did a video on it, basically showing that they have some of the most efficient miners out of all the companies here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do really well as well. And then we would probably see, well, obviously Hive. Hive is also pretty well undervalued right now, along with Bitfarms, followed by Argo here, or Argo and then Bitfarms. So, and then the guys that are the most overvalued or the closest to being overvalued are obviously Marathon, Riot here. So these are obviously just my estimates of what possibly could happen. Obviously, the miners could get more miners installed faster. That's going to obviously change things. The price of Bitcoin can obviously go up. There could be other things that happen to the other miners where they don't get the machines in when they're supposed to. I try to be very conservative as far as what they actually might get in. So take that with a grain of salt, obviously. Things are very fluid here in this industry, and we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Here's something else that I added just recently, just in this this week. So last reported, we have the BTC HODL here, and I've also added the Ethereum HODL down here for all these guys that do have it. So that would be Digihost. Oh, I did forget to add it on for Hut 8, because I know Hut 8 has some, but I don't know how much they have actually mined and how much they're keeping it. I think they're actually not holding on to, that's right, they're not holding on to the Ethereum that they're mining. They're having it converted into BTC. So that reflects it in their BTC here. Ethereum, Hive does obviously hold it, but it looks like they've been selling quite a bit of it as well. But this is what they reported as having. So we're using a price for Ethereum at 3,972, which gives them an Ethereum HODL value right now of 99 million. And then their combined value for Ethereum BTC is 171 million and 30.3 million for Digihost. So here's the comparison that I did here. So if you look at the BTC per share, so shares outstanding, right? We take a look at the value that they have right now of HODL value. So you're basically getting 0.0000148 Bitcoins per each share of this company, Bitfarms, and then the list goes down. But so basically the share value per BTC value. So share per BTC value. So this is what you're kind of basically getting at here. So Bitfarms is 84 cents, Hive is at 18 cents, Hut 8 is at $1.72. Marathon obviously has a lot of Bitcoin, so that's why you're seeing it pretty high up there. So does Hut 8 and Riot. So Riot is at 196, and that is because they have less shares out than Hut 8 does. So that corresponds to these different prices here, even though Hut has more. And then Argo is at 26 cents, almost 27 cents. Digihost is $1.12, again because they have so little shares out. And then you got Cleanspark or Digihost is $1.12, and Cleanspark is $1.13, basically per share so each share basically has about $1.13 of Bitcoin in it. Then if we look at Mawson, Mawson sells all of the Bitcoin that I've seen. Whatever they mine, they sell it, and they use it for operational purposes and to buy more miners, basically. So based on that information, obviously, Marathon has the most based on, it has the most value for each share of BTC, basically. That's the way you can look at it. And then if we look at the HODL to market cap, it's 10% for Bitfarms, 9% for Hive, 10% for Hut 8, 8% for Marathon, 6% for Riot, and then it's 14% for Argo, Digihost is 14%, and Cleanspark is 7%. And then if we look at the market cap versus HODL, per HODL, so you got 1020 for Bitfarms, 1155 for Hive, 9.9 for Hut 8, 1246 for Marathon, 18 for Riot, and Argo's at 7, and Digihost is at 6.92, and Cleanspark is at 1510. So a lot of data here, obviously, but like I said, right now it looks like Digihost is the one that is the most undervalued, followed by Cleanspark, and then Hive, and then Argo, and then going to Bitfarms. And then the rest of the guys are pretty well valued or way overvalued, in my opinion. And I think the reason for that is basically because the investors are giving them a pass, especially for Marathon and Riot, because of the amount of hash rate that they're going to have in 2022. So future hash rate has a huge impact on the stock price and as far as what investors are willing to pay for it. And I think if we look at it, we'll do another video on the hash rate comparison for the miners here probably next week once I update all my information. But we'll definitely see that, obviously, Mara and Riot are the leaders as far as hash rate in this group, followed by, I believe, Bitfarms and then some of the other ones. So that obviously plays a huge role. But yeah, this is all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Interesting way to look at it as far as which miners are undervalued, which ones are overvalued. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. And then we'll do the miner versus Bitcoin coming up here tomorrow. We'll have the end of the week, so we'll probably post it on Saturday once we get all the data for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And until the next time I see you guys, have a great day. Until then.